from the WDAY News Center, this is Ty Schonert, and it's time for your Flag News Update. News this hour brought to you by Freedom Matters USA. A Moorhead man's injured in a Fargo crash and is facing an arrest warrant. It's an update to a story we've followed for you since Friday night. The Minnesota Highway Patrol says Robbie Nose lost control of his vehicle near the pedestrian bridge west of University Drive Friday night and struck a bridge support. Court documents show an arrest warrant for a felony charge of luring minors by computer was issued earlier on Friday. Nose operates a photography business in Moorhead. No other information has been released to the public so far. A West Fargo Public Schools principal is resigning. The school board voted unanimously yesterday evening to release Jeffrey Johnson from his contract. The district says at least 2 of the complaints against Johnson have been substantiated. The district says it intends to release more information about the complaints today. President's UND says many highlights to celebrate from the current fall semester, which is quickly coming to a close.
And we welcomed an extraordinary class. It was the most academically talented class that we've had in a long time.
Andy Armacost says the average high school GPA of incoming students was 3.58 and says the group included a record number of presidential scholars. Armacost says another highlight for this semester was the opening of the new Niesler College of Business and Public Administration. This is Ty Schonert at The Flag and AM1100theflag.com. First at the news when you need to know.
Did you know our water in Fargo and West Fargo has doubled in hardness in the last few years? That's why we put a full water treatment system in from Lindsay Echo Water. Hi, friends. It's Scott Hennon. Do like Maria and I did. Put this in your home. It protects your faucets and fixtures, eliminates hardness residue from shower doors, absolutely saves time on cleaning. And the softening system, unlike others, removes chlorine, ammonia, and other harmful skin irritating gases. It's great for your hair and your skin. Call Lindsay Echo Water today, 218-233-8655. Online at lindsayEchoWater.com.
Progress celebrated at the White House. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden just signing the Respect for Marriage Act into law. It requires states to recognize all marriages legal at the time they're performed, including same-sex and interracial marriages.
Marriage is a simple proposition. Who do you love? And will you be loyal to that person you love? It's not more complicated than that.
The president also says racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, and transphobia are all connected, and that the new law strikes a blow against hate in all its forms. Federal prosecutors call it one of the biggest financial frauds in American history, detailing the indictment of Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of collapsed cryptocurrency exchange FTX.
4 of the 8 charges include wire fraud. The others include commodities fraud, money laundering, and a violation of campaigns finance laws. Authorities say he misused customer funds to get rich, line his pockets, and also donate tens of millions of dollars in political contributions to buy influence in Washington, D.C. and beyond.
Fox's David Spunt, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle grilling the new court-appointed CEO of FTX, John Ray, at a House hearing where Bankman-Fried had been scheduled to appear virtually today. Ray telling lawmakers his review is still in the preliminary stages, but that he's already found a lot wrong, including few rules, a lack of record-keeping about the way customer funds were being used.
So this is just plain old embezzlement.
During interviews, Bankman-Fried has denied trying to commit fraud, and appearing in court in the Bahamas today signaled he intends to fight extradition. A magistrate judge there has just denied bail, ruling he should be sent to the Bahamas Department of Corrections unit until February 8th. Half of the World Cup final is set. Argentina will play for the title after beating Croatia 3-0. They'll face either defending champs France or Morocco, who play tomorrow. America is listening to Fox News.
Yes, missed you this morning. Kim told me you weren't feeling well, so I'm just doing a self-care check.
Oh, thank you, friend.
How you doing?
Girl, listen, my energy was so low because I didn't eat breakfast when I got up, so I had to miss virtual yoga with y'all.
Trust me, I understand.
But I'm doing much better now that I've eaten, so I'm back on track.
Great. In that case, let's get some steps in tonight. I'll come over and we can walk around the lake.
Sounds good. Appreciate you being in my business, too. Now, let me get in yours. Did you check your blood pressure today?
I did that and my squats, okay?
Okay.
High blood pressure is not going to be my friend if I can help it. See you at 6?
Let's get it. See you then.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Check in on one another and be a part of a healthy blood pressure movement. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
A winter storm warning remains in effect until noon on Wednesday. Throughout this evening, wet and heavy snow accumulation across the area, mixed with some freezing drizzle at times. We'll see temperatures holding near 30 degrees into tonight with wet and heavy snow continuing and east wind around 10 to 20. And for your Wednesday, snow tapers off by the afternoon. Highs in the lower 30s with a northeast wind 10 to 15. Around 5 to 10 inches of accumulation will be possible with higher amounts favoring west. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Got a new truck or SUV that you want to protect? Extreme Detailing does a great job with ceramic coatings, and you can bid on a ceramic coating for your new truck or SUV valued at $1,399. Bids begin 7 a.m. Thursday on the Flag Big Deal site. Starting bid is $200, and this ceramic protection plan from Extreme Detailing provides 5 years of warranty exterior protection. For your chance to bid, go online, am1100theflag.com, and see the Big Deals page. Bids begin Thursday, 7 a.m.
Live from the PetroSurge USA studio, it's the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free.
So with some breaking news, the inflation numbers came in actually lower than expected. So potentially some good news for you and I and our dinner table, especially as we're coming into the holidays. Many of you, I'm sure, are doing some holiday shopping. So we'll talk about coming up later in the show, what do these inflation numbers really mean for you and your family, and what's going to be the outlook? Tomorrow, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell will speak, and so we've got a special guest coming up later in the show to talk about that. Also, a little Bison preview. Big Game James is going to be joining us as well later in the show to break down what to expect in that. I mean, it's going to be just a track meet, at least I'm hoping, this coming Friday night in the Fargo Dome. So it'll be fun to chat about that. Want to give a quick shout out to Andrew Sletton for sitting in for me yesterday. Always does an outstanding job doing the show. So Andrew, thank you so much for that. Also, if you've got some road warriors out there, if you're out there driving and just want to call in and let us know what's happening wherever you're at. I mean, things were okay earlier today. Now things are getting pretty slushy. Although I do have a quick update on the weather for you here, Mike. We can just get some volume, please. This is the latest on the weather report.
Well, what do you think, son? I keep playing. I don't think the heavy stuff's going to come down for quite a while.
That's what I say, too. I don't think the heavy stuff's going to be coming down for a while yet. So it's just fine out there. But if you want to call in and share what's happening where you are, Caddyshack, just one of the greatest movies ever, if not the greatest ever. 701-271-1100. 701-271-1100. Also later in the show, just a shocking testimony in regards to this FTX situation and the meltdown there. I just want to share some with you because a lot of people are blowing up crypto and decentralized finance and things like that about what happened here. It has nothing to do with that. It is just pure human greed that did this. So we want to share with you what is going on there so you have a better idea and get educated about it and just know how human beings operate. All right, let's look out the window here along the interstate. It is the snow's coming down a little bit heavier than it was before. So we want to bring in Justin Storm to give us a big update for today, tonight, tomorrow. Meteorologist here at WDAY and Flag Family Media with the perfect last name for his gig. Justin, welcome to the show. And I don't know, I mean, is the heavy stuff not going to come down for a while yet, or what say you?
Yeah, there's some areas of heavy snow around the area, but I think the really heavy stuff is going to come through later this evening and overnight. I think that's when the worst of the storm is going to be coming through, Chris. But yeah, we're seeing some moderate to heavy snowfall just north of Fargo right now. That's stretching up to about Kelso, Grandin, Hillsboro, and then extending into portions of northwestern Minnesota, north of Twin Valley, even mixing in with a little bit of freezing drizzle over there as well. Now, this is more than likely all going to be turning over to white heavy snow for the Minnesota side over the next couple hours. It's basically all snow once you get west of the Red River Valley, and this is going to continue overnight. It's going to pose quite a bit of traveling difficulties for the evening commute time. We're already seeing travel advisories being issued and no travel advised throughout southern half of North Dakota, butting up with the Red River Valley. That would be I-29 all the way up to about Reynolds, just shy of Thompson, north of Hillsboro, and then extending all the way down into northeastern South Dakota. I-94 all the way out to Bismarck, even out towards Montana. No travel advised for the bottom half of our state. That's going to continue, like I said, tonight into tomorrow before the snow finally lightens up. But even tomorrow, we're going to see a break. The western half of the state is not going to see a break. They'll continue to see some snow showers. So your forecast for right now, we got visibility down to about a mile in the FM metro due to an east wind at 15 blowing some of that snow around. That's falling. Once that snow hits the ground, it's really not moving anywhere. It's just too wet and heavy to really blow around. So not expecting blizzard conditions out of this storm, nor are the winds going to be strong enough to reach blizzard criteria. Tonight, wet, heavy snow continues down to a low of 30 degrees. We'll have an east wind around 10 to 20 miles per hour, and those snow showers will begin to taper off as we head throughout the morning hours into the afternoon of Wednesday. By tomorrow, about noon o'clock, let's say, 12 o'clock, noon, we'll have about 5 to 10 inches of snow on the ground here in the FM metro. Lighter amounts will be found just to the east of Fargo, heavier amounts just to the west side of Fargo. Valley City, Jamestown, they might be looking at close to a foot of snow by tomorrow morning, and there's more snow on the way, but we're going to get a nice little break throughout the afternoon, so you're going to be able to shovel this in 2 different phases. You'll get a day in between. You'll have highs in the lower 30s and mid-30s tomorrow with a northeast wind 10 to 15, gusting to 25, just a few flurries, maybe a stray snow shower throughout the afternoon. It's not till we head into Thursday, the backside of this storm, wraparound snow, gonna come back into the valley. I don't expect it to be very heavy in intensity, but we should be able to pick up another 2 to 5 inches by Friday afternoon when that's going to start to wind down into Friday night. So we're going to kind of see 2 waves. The biggest, worst part of this comes through tonight. The second part comes through Thursday afternoon into your Friday afternoon, probably even into Friday evening with a few scattered snow showers. That's where I'm going to maybe look for blowing snow potential as the winds pick up a bit on Friday, and we're going to transition from wet, heavy snow to lighter and fluffier snow. That'll give us a better chance to lift that snow off the ground and blow it around. So just something to keep up to date on. Winter storm warning in effect until noon tomorrow. Probably going to see an additional advisory being issued for either Thursday or Friday.
And then I see that it gets balmy come Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week, yeah?
My, thank you for bringing that up, Chris. Yeah, it's going to get hot as we head into next week. And get this, high temperatures on Tuesday of next week, 2 below 0. I hope you like my joke there. It's not going to get hot at all. It's getting really cold. Arctic air floods into the area for next week. High temperatures for at least half of next week, won't even break 0. So yeah, it will get a little cold. I did forget to mention total snow accumulation for this entire event. So by Saturday, we're probably going to be looking at anywhere probably around 10 to 14 inches of snow here in Fargo, a solid 10 to 16 around our area with higher amounts possible. Again, that'll favor around the Jamestown, Valley City, down towards Allendale. On the Minnesota side of things, probably about 8 to 14. Immediately to our east in the Lakes Country, probably going to fall on that lower amount. Just north of Lakes Country will probably fall closer, a little above a foot.
Unbelievable. Justin, stay with us here for a minute. I want to get to a phone call that's coming in.
Sure.
We've got some road warriors here. So if you want to call in and share with us what's happening out on the roads as you're driving around, please do so. 701-271-1100. Again, 701-271-1100. Ty, welcome to the show. What's happening on the roads, my friend?
Hey, Chris. Good to hear from you, my friend. Just giving you an update. I'm driving south on 29. There's a Cherokee in the ditch, so even four-wheel drives are having a tough time. I'm in a big truck, and the base layer is real slick. Don't underestimate any of those people. Just take your time, especially if you're just getting out of work and it's going to get ugly. Everyone's going through about 35 miles an hour on 29. It's just nothing we're not used to. It's just the first ones are always the most dangerous.
Yeah.
Just, everybody slow down.
How bad are the winds, man? Are the winds moving you around at all or not too much?
No, I'm not dealing with much of that. I mean, I don't see any massive. The snow's really heavy too, so it's all just sitting. There's some blowing around, but nothing's getting my attention. Not like issues where we deal with drifting. This is just wet, slick with a really wet layer underneath, which is going to turn to ice here soon, I'm sure. So it's going to get really ugly tonight, probably.
Yeah, Ty, thank you so much for that. I'm going to have Justin talk about that. Justin, if you want to give us some temperature breakdowns coming into the night, because he brings up a really good point. Like, I thought it was going to, it was pretty slick this morning. I thought it was going to be even more slick, but boy, you take all this wet snow, and then you get the really deep, I'm assuming deeper freeze tonight. What can people anticipate on the roads?
Well, here's the good news in that regard, Chris. We're actually not going to get very cold tonight. I'm only forecasting a low of about 30 degrees, so all those main roads, interstates, yeah, we're going to get snow accumulating on the top of them. That's going to be your bigger issue than worrying about the ice, because most of those roads, treated, dirt, salt, it's just going to be too warm for that combination with the water to really freeze. Side roads, sidewalks, parking lots, another story. Those ones going to get pretty icy. Those will more than likely freeze. But your main interstates, your main roads, your highways, outside of the wet, heavy, slushy snow accumulation on top, I'm not expecting a whole lot of icy conditions, but it is going to get slippery. You get that snow that packs down on top of it, that's going to pose slippery roads. Just icing, I don't think that's going to be our greatest threat to throughout tonight.
If you're just joining us, Justin Storm, meteorologist here at WDAY, Flag Family Media. Justin, two more things I want to touch on, if you don't mind. One is just what can people expect tomorrow morning? And then two, because you mentioned how cold it's going to be next week, is let's talk as well about maybe some holiday travel. People are flying out of town, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So let's start with tomorrow morning, then we'll move on to next weekend.
Yeah, so tomorrow morning, if you are around the Fargo metro area, you're going to be waking up to about 5 to 10 inches of snow. I think the heavier amounts will favor the west side of Fargo. Lesser amounts will favor to the east side of Fargo. Up and down the valley, basically going to be in that 5 to 10 inch range. So tomorrow morning, going to need to shovel out the driveway, wake up early, use a snowblower. Again, it's going to be wet, heavy snow. This is stuff that will hurt your back after you shovel it, so take your time with that. Roads, again, going to be slick. Besides your main roads, your highways, your interstates, more than likely going to have compacted or accumulated snow on there. Plows are obviously going to hang on to the main roads first. Those should be fine for your morning commute, but just leave extra time. It's still going to be slippery. There's still going to be some snow showers tomorrow morning, but they will wind down by the afternoon.
All right, then let's move into the holiday travel weekend. So start with maybe Thursday, Friday. What are you anticipating? I know that there was a few years ago where it was so cold the planes weren't flying out. You start talking 10, 15, 20 below, and then you throw a wind chill on top of that. Do we potentially have a similar situation next weekend, or what say you?
So for next weekend, around Christmas, it looks fine. But I am seeing signs, and this is one of our LRC storms, rolling in around the 21st or 22nd. Right now, it doesn't look like it's going to pose the biggest issue for us here in Fargo, but it does look like it's going to be rolling south throughout the central United States. So this will likely bring some heavy snow, potentially into southern Minnesota, Iowa, possibly even into portions of Missouri and Nebraska. So something we'll keep an eye on. Traveling around here, probably not going to be too bad weather-wise for snow. I do expect the chance for snow Thursday or Wednesday through Friday of next week, but I think the worst of it will be down to our south. We're just going to be dealing with the cold weather for next week, and that looks like it's going to just stick around till about Christmas. Then I think we might see a brief warm-up right after Christmas. So we'll just something to keep a very close eye on. The LRC was predicting a good cold snap right around Christmas, so it's either that's going to be extended past Christmas or the cold snap is just coming in a little bit sooner than we expected it to.
So is a warm-up now like just above zero? Do we consider that a warm-up after going through what we're going to go through next week?
We are finally in the days where if we break zero, we say it's warm out.
Oh, man. That's not what I wanted you to say.
No, it's going to be a good little cold snap. We'll see high temperatures between or maybe around 5 below zero for a good couple of days. Overnight lows 10 to 20, 25 below. That's going to stretch into basically up until about Christmas time after we get past Sunday. We'll have a high of 7 on Sunday, 4 on Monday, and then we're below zero Tuesday through Saturday of next week at minimum.
Justin Storm, thank you very much, sir.
You're very welcome, Chris.
We appreciate the truth, man. All right, thank you very much. Justin Storm, meteorologist here at WDAY Flag Family Media. As we say every day, welcome to your daily dose of truth to help set you free. And even though you and I do not want to hear that kind of outlook, it is what it is. That's the truth. And so thank you to Justin Storm for that, who does just an outstanding job. So when we come back, some interesting numbers coming out from inflation today. So what's really fascinating for you and I is the fact that the inflation numbers came out today. They were lower than expected, but still not good. So you're going to see the headlines like, oh, hey, inflation. Like, you got to know what it really means for you and your family. But what's interesting is the fact that you've got also the chairman of the Federal Reserve speaking tomorrow, Jerome Powell. Does this change what he's going to do with interest rates? How is that going to impact you and your family if you're someone that's looking to buy a home, or maybe you've got a business loan? We've got a very special guest coming up next that'll talk about what is all of this mean for you and your family and your dinner table. That and much, much more. And also, if you want to email the show, please do so. studio@chrisbergshow.com. I want to say thank you to Red Wing Shoes for sponsoring our studio email inbox. You can find out more at redwingshoes.com.
Your farm and business depends on a reliable source for energy. PetroServe USA is the customer-owned co-op committed to being a stable source of fuel for your equipment and propane to dry your grain. We have the capacity to make sure you never run out of fuel and to keep prices stable. Dependability, competitive prices, and exemplary service. That's PetroServe USA, helping America fuel better.
PetroServe USA.
Call today.
45th Street. And
Been looking for a golf cart for the lake, cabin, or the course? Largest selection of Club Car Onward golf carts within 150 miles is available at All Season Motorsports. 0% financing. That's 0% financing for up to 36 months on 2022 and 23 Club Car golf carts. All inventory must go. Largest selection of club cars at 0% financing. All Season Motorsports off I-94 and Cheyenne Street, West Fargo. Hurry before they're gone.
Click the North Dakota Lottery. Imagine the possibilities.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but actually does something about it. America's only Christian conservative wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now. Get free activation with the code FLAGFAMILY. Switching is easy. Go to patriotmobile.com/flagfamily. patriotmobile.com/flagfamily or call 972-PATRIOT. 972-PATRIOT.
Do you love working on cars but don't love your current job? If so, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. We're a family-owned full-service auto repair shop looking to hire skilled automotive technicians. With our state-of-the-art shops, great work environment with competitive pay and benefits, you'll enjoy a great job with a bigger purpose and a lot of opportunity for advancement. Visit FixItForwardAutoCare.com to apply. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
Tioga, a place to grow, a place rooted in small town values and budding with big ideas, a place with a hearty work ethic and energy that shows. Enjoy our new community center, outdoor pool, park and rec activities, thriving schools, state-of-the-art clinic, the nicest general aviation airport in the state, and a vibrant main street where opportunity abounds. Tioga is fertile ground to grow your family, grow your business, grow your career, grow your garden, grow your faith and your community. It's a place to call home, where everybody knows your name, where people still smile and wave. Whether you're passing through or seeking a destination, pop in for a visit. You might just decide to plant new roots. Welcome to Tioga. Come grow with us. Visit the Tioga Chamber of Commerce at tiogand.org.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go.
Our board man Michael playing a little Michael Bublé, and boy, is it ever beginning to look a lot like Christmas. We're coming to you live from the PetroServe USA studio, helping you and America fuel better as you are driving around. Please be safe. I'm getting texts coming in, people in four-wheel drive, and still very, very slick out there. So if you happen to be driving by Harwood, just stop into the big, beautiful, brand new PetroServe USA. Great thing about it, it's also got a Cafe USA. Many of them do these days. So if you want to stop in, you can fill up your car and just fill up the tummy. Get some burgers, some chicken, whatever suits your fancy, but some really, really just good, fun food at a Cafe USA at your local PetroServe USA. So one of the things we often talk about PetroServe USA is, just want to remind you, they still have, for years now, they still have what's called the 4 for $4. You get a pizza, a couple cookies, 20-ounce soda, all for just $4. It's been that way for years, even though, as we all know, inflation has been going through the roof. There is maybe a little bit of a silver lining in the numbers that came out today, and that is this. Many people expected the inflation to come in around 7.3%, and then that's year over year, and then for the month was going to be 0.3, but instead it came in at 7.1. But here's where I think it gets interesting for you and I, especially heading into the holidays. Food at home, still up 12% year over year. Now, I don't know a lot of people in the last year that have seen a 12% increase in their income. Maybe you do, but it's not normal. So it gets to be really, really difficult for families to say, wait a second, there's still more month than there is money. So a lot of numbers there. The bottom line is, what does this ultimately mean for you heading into the holidays and looking out into the first half of next year? Plus, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, speaks tomorrow. We'll find out what they're going to do with interest rates. And joining us to break all this down, to make it super simple for you, is the president and CEO of Reaper Financial, Patrick Riley. Patrick, welcome back to the show. Great to see you.
Thanks, Chris. Great to be here.
So I wanted to start with these numbers, and if you wouldn't mind, would love to know your point of view on, hey, Chris, here's what the numbers say, but here's how it really impacts people at home and their dinner tables.
Sure. So the number for inflation that came out today is at 7.11. As you said, it's slightly lower than the 7.3 that was predicted. Now, I don't take a lot of comfort in that number. And the larger indicator, the macro indicators, are still showing we're on track to continue right into a recession, in which that will increase unemployment and it will drive up cost of goods for the average family. So the best thing an average provider can do in this day and age is to make themselves unexpendable, and or the secondary follow on to that is to make yourself a part of the Great Resignation, which I know sounds a little bit backwards, but the Great Resignation is basically finding ways to freelance and bring in money that's not from a regular employment or a job. And so if you're just, struggling and that you may be one of those people that gets laid off in a coming recession, it may benefit you to have a few different options lined up. So some of those options include things like Uber Eats, DoorDash, driving for Uber, or, you can do online marketing or different ways of basically social media influencing to make money. And I know that sounds very departed from what most people are used to doing for work, but that is the economy we're moving towards.
Patrick, so well said, because I'm curious, we'll get into the Federal Reserve conversation in a little bit here, what you think they're going to say tomorrow. But everybody that I talk to, and uber smart people in regards to the economies, think, hey, look, it may not be a deep recession, but there's definitely a recession coming in the first half of next year. Thus, as you're suggesting, there's going to be higher unemployment. We've already seen the numbers in a lot of the tech companies laying off. I mean, it's amazing. This might be a conversation today or another day, but I mean, Twitter lays off half its employees. The app's probably running better, and I think it's a great analogy for what could happen at the federal government. But if you want to touch that one, go for it. My point to you is, how bad do you think things get next year as far as unemployment? And I love the fact you're giving suggestions about some other income opportunities for people.
Well, so I like to look at some of the key leaders in the industry, and really the largest asset manager in the world is a company called BlackRock, which most people have never heard of. But BlackRock is managing around $9 trillion in asset, and they recently released a article through Yahoo News stating that they're expecting a recession unlike any other, and that governments are deliberately pushing for a recession. So as you recall, way back when we started talking, Chris, I had brought this up, that the best way to bring down inflation is going to be intentionally causing a recession. So that's kind of the 40,000 foot view of this. But what that means as far as how hard it will get, basically with layoffs come a lot of defaults in payments, and a lot of defaults in payments is going to make a much more strict lending environment, and it's going to make it much harder to borrow and get credit. And since we're already at a high inflation and saving money isn't doing much for you, it's going to be just as difficult to get a loan for a house. And because it's going to be difficult, we can expect home prices might drop. So that might be something good to take advantage of. At the same time, all of these things come with a secondary and a tertiary effect, which as home prices drop, that means credit unions are going to start hurting. So if you're deeply invested or involved with credit unions or different banks, you might want to start measuring different ways to remove yourself from that liability or that risk, because I know everyone thinks their money is safe just sitting in a bank or a credit union, but that's not always the case.
Gosh, every time you say that, man, it just makes my skin crawl or, creep up. It's like, oh boy, that's the last thing that we want to see. You said a lot there, and I saw an interesting article recently where it said it was an unbelievable percentage, and don't quote me on this, but maybe 20% of the homes that were recently bought in the last 6 months are already underwater. I mean, just some really staggering numbers. So it'd be interesting to see if lending does tighten up and the market goes down even more, what that potentially could mean for people, and might be some opportunities in real estate. What do you expect to hear from Jerome Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve, tomorrow? Does he take this CPI number into account tomorrow, and does that change anything? Do you think we'll hear from him tomorrow?
Well, Jerome Powell is typically very measured and well spoken in the way that he says a lot while also saying not much at all. And I can respect that in his position, that he's in a very difficult public speaking aspect. I expect a very mild review and news from him tomorrow that will not give a warm and fuzzy or a cold shoulder to the economy.
But you presume the 50 basis points tomorrow is going to be the number?
I would expect 50 basis points, yes.
So then let's go out. I saw an interesting chart today in regards to, you're talking about possible recession, unemployment. Where do you, in this, again, you mentioned, hey, Chris, remember when we first started talking, I talked about X. The other thing you mentioned is the 401ks may not be as safe as we think they are. And sure enough, now I think they're down 18, 20% for many people, depending on where you're invested at, obviously. But where do you see, for example, the S&P 500 in 6 months?
Well, so the S&P 500 over the next 6 months to 2 years is going to struggle along with the rest of the economy. However, over the next 10 to 20 years, it will probably grow just as healthy as it did the last 10 to 20 years. The reason the S&P 500 works the way it does is you're talking about the top 500 companies in a basket that are selected to basically preserve the value of that fund. And so companies can fall out of that fund, and new companies like, for example, Tesla very recently was added to the S&P 500. And, that will preserve that as a store of value. And this is not financial advice.
Thank you for that disclaimer. Yes, not financial advice, and I think very good information to help you understand where things potentially could be going, because you always want to be hedging yourself. I think, Patrick, one of the best things you've said today is, look, if we end up going into a recession, you see a higher unemployment, you may want to start today thinking about what are some of those quote unquote great resignation opportunities, whether it's Uber Eats or whatever it might be, but just some other sort of income stream, revenue stream for yourself, just in case. Maybe start building the skill set now. All right, when we come back, incredible hearing today on Capitol Hill. The new CEO of FTX was part of that hearing. And many people are pointing fingers in certain directions. When you hear the complete irresponsibility of these people that are running these companies, it is stunning that anybody with any sort of brain would say, yeah, I'll give him some money. And there was a couple Congress people that actually asked some really, really good questions about, hey, how in the world could some of the top investment minds on the planet say yes to this? So I want to share that with you. We're going to have Patrick give his analysis of it as we play some of those clips. And of course, if you want to email the show, please do so. Very easy to do. It's studio@chrisbergshow.com. And again, I want to say thank you to Red Wing Shoes. If you're somebody out there working hard, especially right now with the kind of weather we're going to be having, and you need some great protective work boots that are really customized to your feet, go see Teresa, 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Stay with us. Much more coming up.
A winter storm warning remains in effect until noon on Wednesday. Throughout this evening, wet and heavy snow accumulation across the area, mixed with some freezing drizzle at times. We'll see temperatures holding near 30 degrees into tonight, with wet and heavy snow continuing and east wind around 10 to 20. And for your Wednesday, snow tapers off by the afternoon. Highs in the lower 30s with a northeast wind 10 to 15. Around 5 to 10 inches of accumulation will be possible, with higher amounts favoring west. From the Skywatch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Justin Storm.
Did you know our water in Fargo and West Fargo has doubled in hardness in the last few years? That's why we put a full water treatment system in from Lindsay Echo Water. Hi, friends. It's Scott Hennon. Do like Maria and I did, put this in your home. It protects your faucets and fixtures, eliminates hardness residue from shower doors, absolutely saves time on cleaning, and the softening system, unlike others, removes chlorine, ammonia, and other harmful skin irritating gases. It's great for your hair and your skin. Call Lindsay Echo Water today, 218-233-8655. Online at lindsayEchoWater.com.
Did you know that medical expenses are the leading cause of bankruptcy? When someone experiences health issues or other trauma, it impacts the entire family, emotionally and financially. Lost wages make it challenging to keep up with expenses, and holidays can be especially stressful. Many families are faced with tough choices. Do they fill the prescription, the fridge, or their children's stockings? This holiday season, you can help your neighbors through Holiday Hand Up, a giving event hosted by Lend a Hand Up. Donations made to Holiday Hand Up now through December 15th boost help for many of your neighbors through one tax-deductible gift. To learn more about local families participating in this year's giving event and to add your support, go to lendahandup.org. That's lendahandup.org. Lend a Hand Up is a subsidiary nonprofit of the Dakota Medical Foundation. Gifts to Holiday Hand Up are matched by Alex Stern Family Foundation and Gateway Chevrolet.
Are you wine curious, or maybe you're a wine connoisseur? Come join us at Cellar 624 for our Wine Wednesdays from 4 to 8, because you'll have a fun time out and enjoy some beautiful wines. Bring your friends, make it a date night for fun and fine wine at cellar624.com. Wine Wednesdays from 4 to 8. Find out more by going to cellar624.com and reserve your spot at cellar624.com. Come join us for fun and fine wine.
Mike Lindell has an all-new product, My Coffee. And is it good? It starts with beans grown in Honduras, where the climate has perfect growing conditions to produce the best beans ever. Every single batch is tested to make sure it meets the very highest industry standard. And all of the production is done right here in the USA. You can order ground whole bean or single cert coffee pods, certified organic and non-GMO. It's like you're getting that small batch specialty coffee delivered monthly right to your door. So go to mystore.com, use the promo code Scott, or call 800-506-9028. You'll save 50% on your My Coffee subscription. Sign up today and you'll get a free Go Anywhere My Pillow. Cancel anytime and keep the Go Anywhere pillow on Mike. Support Mike's platform for USA entrepreneurs. mystore.com. That's mystore.com, or call 800-506-9028. Promo code Scott.
Chevrolet, wake up, stand up. Let's elevate America. Join me at ndflagpoleguide.com and our patriots in raising America to a level of excellence. Strength through peace and love will be our creed. Let us return to the basics of what has made our country great. Accountability to a creator, ourselves, and those in our lives is vitally important to a civil, free country. I'm Jim, I'm ndflagpoleguy.com, and thank you.
Cause this is do or die. The time has come to make a choice. And I choose. Let it move. Let it move. Let it move. Yeah, I choose. Let it move you. Let it move.
Welcome back to the Chris Berg Show, your daily dose of truth to help set you free. We were having a little internal conversation here, which I hope didn't go over the air. As I look over, like, oh, the red light's on. We got to go. So welcome back. It's so much happening. Coming up here in the next segment, Big Game James is going to join us. We're going to be breaking down the Bison Incarnate Word semifinal playoff game. It is going to be just a track meet in the Fargo Dome on Friday night. So stick around. You're going to want to hear much more about that. And with us right now, that we've got the president and CEO of Reaper Financial. It's a decentralized finance token. And I say that because I really want to get into, there was just an incredible hearing today in regards to FTX. John Ray, the new CEO of FTX, also he's a BK guy, testified in front of the House Finance Committee, and it was shocking. I mean, just shocking. I'm sure many of us out there have made some, bad investments in the day, and you're like, gosh, how did I ever do that? I'm going to make you feel so much better about yourself today when you hear some of these clips as to what happened. Because you want to remember, I mean, you have people like Sequoia Capital out of the Bay Area. I mean, a major, major venture capital firm put I think it was $225 million into FTX. I mean, other really big names that just, hey, we'll give you some money. And obviously we can see now that was not a good decision. So Patrick Riley sticking around. Patrick, I'm going to get into some clips in a moment. I just want to start with, because you are so well versed in this space, if you will, you run a decentralized token called the Reaper token. Just what's been your assessment? And let's frame it so why it really matters to the person listening. What's your assessment of what's happened in FTX and why should they care?
Well, so here's my high level take on the FTX situation. Is first, it puts cryptocurrency and blockchain assets in a very bad light, and it's very easy to see that there was embezzlement and there was basically a Ponzi scheme, and it's being paraded through the news as if this is a problem throughout cryptocurrency. The good news is this has almost nothing to do with cryptocurrency or blockchain. It has everything to do with politics and corruption. So the FTX saga is really much bigger than most people realize, and the timing of it, based on the House flipping, as well as Jim Jordan's new investigation, and the money transfers that happen from the Democrat Party to operatives in Ukraine and back through FTX and back into the Democrats. It says a lot of things about this case being much more than just a Ponzi or a Bernie Madoff. And maybe in these clips, we'll see that that's actually why some of these companies were throwing money at something that was clearly not an investment, but a donation to a party.
Oh, man. I was hoping you were going to go there. Didn't know if you were, and you just did. So let's go there. You talked about politics and corruption. Take us deeper, where you're suggesting now that there's this ring that's happening between donations to Ukraine, back to politicians. Walk us through what gives you any sort of implication that is. I mean, first off, why do you say that's true? What evidence do you have? And then walk us through it if you have it.
Well, so we need to walk this back actually to 2014, when Joseph Biden, as vice president under Obama, was the basically the territorial manager for the Ukrainian province or Ukrainian country. At that time, he was the attaché for the United States, basically.
Patrick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but just so people have some context, can you also share with people your history serving in the military, so people know that, hey, look, this isn't just some person on the StreamYard, but so can you share that, please?
Yep. So I am a 16-and-a-half-year combat medic veteran who recently retired from the United States Army. I served in Iraq, Philippines, Malaysia, FSM, and have experience for about 3 to 3.5 years with civil affairs and psychological operations, and supported multiple operations with governments and negotiations with governors and foreign high-level politicians to basically arrange for the best interests of the United States.
Thank you for that. So now let's go back to, and I apologize to having interrupted you. Just want to give people some context back to Joe Biden, 2014 in Ukraine.
Yep. So in 2014, he was overseeing that region, and that was during the time that a pro-Russian president was overthrown in Ukraine, which then prompted Putin at the time to invade Crimea as a response. And basically the corruption within Ukraine at that time, it was known to be one of the most corrupt politically countries in the world. Had a company called Burisma, and Burisma was previously supporting the old president that was pro-Russian, and then once the overthrow happened, Hunter Biden went in and started working for Burisma with all his expertise in petroleum, and he started taking money that was in a shared bank account with his father, and over the period of time when we got to where we are now, that basically Joe Biden became elected or pseudo-elected president of the United States. We then saw the invasion of Ukraine, which was probably quite related to his own affiliation to the history in that region. So Putin's prompts were probably very much related to Biden's taking of the office. So with that, we saw money that was circulating from the Democratic Party to Ukraine, and from Ukraine, they had a direct link with FTX, with Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX set up basically a wallet for them, and over $2 billion went missing in the process. Sam Bankman-Fried is the second largest donor to the Democrats. And I'll point out also that this current investigation of Joseph Biden by the House GOP committee is in regards to SARs received by JP Morgan, which is basically a financial red flag that JP Morgan received in regards to Joseph Biden.
What's an SAR?
SAR, I've got to look up the actual acronym. It's drawn a blank on me, but it's a significant event basically in the finances of an account that throws up red flags that there may be a money laundering operation or criminal activity.
Wow. Okay, so then to walk us through, so you're suggesting that the $2 billion that has gone missing, and we've got, I think it's, 1.5 billion in loans and payments to SBF. You're suggesting that essentially, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but was a washing machine for the Democrat Party.
So I'll put it this way, and obviously I haven't seen the books. I'm just a person observing from the outside, but I do know the players, and I know the timeline, and I know the investigation and the collapse of FTX right around the midterm elections. And I'll say that whether or not it was a laundering operation, it was probably a target of a political opposition between the Republicans and the Democrats, in which I think it was probably taken down by operatives on the Republican side, and they most likely intend to investigate it as it relates to reports and the investigation of Joe Biden.
So real quickly, and I've got about literally a minute left, but I always thought there's some amazing pictures of Lindsey Graham and John McCain and Amy Klobuchar over in Ukraine back in the day. I thought the timing of Lindsey Graham coming and going, hey, I've got an idea, because we all know how the abortion thing was polling. Let's do a 15-week, no abortion thing nationally. Like, it was just such a horrible political maneuver. Was he trying to deflect and save face because he's also had something going on in Ukraine, or am I reaching too far?
So I'm not familiar with that specific situation. I will say with Lindsey Graham, I've always felt he was a little bit too much on the fence. And I have trust issues with all politicians. I'll leave it at that.
Fair. That's probably a fair way to sum it up. So Patrick Riley, check him out, Reaper Financial. Didn't think he was going to go there, but he went there. Reaper Financial. Patrick Riley, we appreciate it. Look forward to having you back, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, if you're someone right now who's dealing with anxiety, depression, you just aren't getting a good night's sleep, I really want to encourage you, go check them out. They're doing some really powerful things for people that are having mental health challenges. It's Siriset of Fargo. It's a free phone call. Find out if it's the right situation for you. You can go in, get a consultation, where you basically take a nap. I mean, it's fantastic. The number there is 701-566-5231. Again, 701-566-5231. We're talking Bison Preview coming up right after this.
Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up.
All of us at Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry want to help you focus on the present with sparkling diamond stud earrings, mouth-watering precision-cut color gemstones, and jaw-dropping diamond pendants, engagement rings to even make Santa blush, making memories to last a lifetime, one piece of jewelry at a time. Schmidt's Gems and Fine Jewelry, 3241 42nd Street South, Fargo. Online at schmidtsjewelry.com.
Hi, this is Kevin Piper with Piper's Auction Company. Piper's upcoming December auctions include 280 acres of exceptional cropland in Clay County near Bryanville and Craighead, Minnesota. 295 acres of cropland in Ransom County. 320 acres of cropland in Lemoore near Dickey, North Dakota. 780 acres of cropland near Chaffee, North Dakota, and Cass County. 503 acres in Bottineau County near Westville. And an excellent line of travel trailers and semi for DG Trucking in Bismarck. View these auctions and many more land and equipment auctions at Pipers.com.
Truck headquarters. Gateway Chevrolet has new Chevy trucks arriving daily. Buy your new Chevy Silverado at Invoice. Yes, Invoice pricing on new Silverados with a fresh look, new interiors, and larger screens with easy-to-use technology. Save thousands on new Chevy Silverados with 4 different motors available. Dynamic fuel management, Bluetooth, backup camera, Apple CarPlay, and more. Save thousands and enjoy the smooth ride in your new Chevy Silverado from Gateway Chevrolet. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
Have you ever thought about selling your home to quickly talk yourself out of it when you consider all the repairs, cleaning, inspections, open houses, and the unknown of what price your home will actually sell at? Stop stressing. We will buy your home as is, with no appraisals or costly commissions to worry about. You can even pick your closing date. Call me, John Masala with JK Property Partners at 701-306-3229 or go to FargoHomeValues.com for an instant valuation.
Meanwhile, on Santa Twitter,
hey Santa, can I get a new laptop for Christmas? At Hunter Biden, you're just like Trump, a fat old white guy who wears a red hat. At Nancy Pelosi.
Get the latest news during the holidays on the air and online.
We see you when you are sleeping. We also plan to seize copies of your list at the FBI.
AM 1100, FM 92.3, The Flag.
Taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. I've been taking care of business. It's alright. Taking care of business and working overtime.
Who's going to be taking care of business this Friday night in the Fargo Dome? It is going to be at least potentially a track meet coming up on Friday night. Can't wait to check it out. I want to remind you, if you want to email the show, thank you so much to Red Wing Shoes. Again, redwingshoes.com. You can do so by studio at chrisbergshow.com. Again, that's studio at chrisbergshow.com. Joining me now in studio, Big Game James. We're going to break down this Bison Incarnate Word game. And if you did not see what happened Saturday, I think it was Saturday, it was late Friday night, I guess, actually.
Late Friday night to early Saturday morning.
Incarnate Word ends up beating Sac State, undefeated, 66-63. No, it was not a basketball game. It was a football game, 66-63. And some people are like, well, it's Sac State. Stanford just hired Sac State's coach, so he must be doing something right and understand football. Big Game James, great to see you. What's your assessment of this Friday night, my friend?
It's going to be, really interesting, to say the least, because you're looking at a defense in the Bison that some people say isn't as talented as it has been in the past. It might be a little bit more youth-filled than it has been in the past. You have 4 freshmen making legitimate impacts on this Bison defense this year, from 3 of them on the defensive line, 1 at linebacker. Logan Kopp at linebacker was a conference player of the week about a month and a half ago. These guys aren't playing like freshmen. They've had to be inserted in big moments against schools like South Dakota State, the Dakota Marker game, against schools like Arizona out of the Pac-12, in a game against Southern Illinois where it was a dogfight, 21-18, where they've had to grind it out, and they've realized that they can compete at the collegiate level, and they have confidence, whether it's Jackson Dutenheffer, it's Cody Highsmith, it's Cole Menz, the local product out of Horace, North Dakota. These young men are ready to go. In the same token, though, they've never dealt with something like they're about to see on Friday night.
What do you mean?
Lindsey Scott Jr. is a quarterback prospect that I've never seen at the FCS level. He, in my opinion, resembles what Lamar Jackson is right now. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. When you think the play is over, you better make sure that the officials, 3 or 4 of them, have blown the whistle. Because if you haven't heard 3 or 4 whistles blown and you don't see officials running into that pile and waving their arms, this young man's still going to make something happen. He's in his 7th year of college football because of the COVID year, and he had a transfer as well. So he's experienced. He's been around. He actually committed originally. He played for He redshirted at LSU his freshman year, his first year. He's from the Louisiana area, so he's seen what it takes to succeed at the highest level of college football and what they do in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There, he also has himself a running back in Marcus Cooper, who you got to keep in mind that young man's got 1,400 yards rushing as well in the year. He's got a pair of wide receivers that have over 1,000 yards receiving this season individually. Lindsey Scott Jr. in what is 13 games here now this season. 59 passing touchdowns and 9 rushing touchdowns. These are things we've never seen at the FCS level. He's shattered records. They broke the playoff record last week, like you're talking about, 66-63, in just unbelievably just exhilarating fashion. I mean, you were on the edge of your seat the entire game. It was a 29-28 fourth quarter, both teams with 4 scores. It came down to the final play, Incarnate Word's defense was able to come up with a big stop. The difference is with Incarnate Word, the same way as the Bison, Incarnate Word hasn't seen a defense like NDSU has. As much as some people can say, you know what? This isn't as talented of a defense. There's not as many NFL draft picks on it. I think that's what makes this defense this year so darn great, is the fact that take the ego out of it. Take the NFL draft pick out of it. Take the I'm going to the combine in 2 months out of it. These are 11 young men that come out there, and they play for the other 10 on the field at all times. And when you have 3, if not 4 freshmen out there that are playing like they're third and fourth year guys, they're almost too naive to realize the situation that they're in. And so they make a mistake, and you have a senior like Spencer Wagee or a guy like Michael Tutsi in the secondary that goes and smacks him on the side of the helmet and goes, "Hey, don't worry, kid. You got the next one. We trust you. We have faith in you." We don't put a freshman out there. They don't put a freshman out there in NDSU unless they have faith in those young men. And so this is gonna be a game. It might be a little bit more high scoring than people at the Fargo Dome and people in North Dakota are comfortable with. But the Bison have every opportunity to come out with this one and advance once again.
If you're just joining us, Big Game James breaking down the Bison Incarnate Word game coming up this Friday, as he's talking about, it's going to be a track meet Friday night. I mean, if you base things on the past, 11, 12 games these guys have played. So walk me through, man. You're Incarnate Word, you're playing Q, you're this Lindsey Scott Jr. guy. What am I doing to exploit the defense of the Bison?
Well, what you're doing is you're being unorthodox. You're doing things where you have to be on the same page with the offensive line and with the receivers, because in order to keep the Bison defense honest, the front seven honest, he's going to have quick hitting passes early. He's going to have to get them on edge, because if the Bison can pin their ears back and send 4 or 5 guys, it's over. Even for a guy like him, it very well could be over.
I don't know if he's as athletic as you say he is.
And that's the thing, is this is a team that can put up points faster than any team I've ever seen in my life. I mean, think about it. They averaged 53 points a game this year. They've scored at least 31 points in every game this year. They average 53 points a game, and they only have the football for 26 minutes.
All right, so I got 15 seconds. What's your prediction?
Man, I think the Bison, they go back to play their favorite football game of the year. That happens to be just after the new year. Give it to me, though, 31-24. This game's going to come down to that last possession.
You think they hold them to 24, huh?
I think the Bison offensively can hold the ball long enough that that's all they're going to have an opportunity to score.
All right, you heard it here. We'll see. We'll have him back. We'll have him back.
They're vulnerable when it comes to the run defense. And the Bison, they can run the darn ball.
Man. All right, so there you have it. We will have him back on Friday, and then we'll obviously be breaking down the game next week as well. So be sure and join us tomorrow here at 4. This is the Chris Berg Show. We'll tell you what the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has to say, and much, much more. Have a great rest of your night.
It's no one.